Louisville, home of the best scrapper, also home of the best rapper. Flow dapper, here's another chapter. Ride through, attack you, ride away your laughter. This is what I'm after, blowing on that rapper. Purple Dro, keep a bunch to blow. I don't serve it though, murder flow. If it goes down, I'm the first to know. Y'all niggas late, like the Conan show. Overdose, overload, sharp flow, leaving with the open throat. Lewis Keys, cool as Nova Scotia snow. Puff a blunt, poke a hole, nigga, you supposed to know. Lewis Keys, blowing blunts on the.
What up, everybody? Hold on, I got technology out. Alright, y'all, so, okay, then screw you guys, you up. What up, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red, and we're back for another one. Let me fix this a little bit. Alright, y'all, so, a little bit of new news, man. A little bit of new news surrounding Pacquiao. Got a few people in here today, man. What's good, everybody? What's good? Alright, man, so I found an article, man. I was going through some articles earlier, and I wanted to talk about this article I found. So, apparently, there's a little bit of a snafu, let's call it, when it comes to the Pacquiao-Ugas rematch. It seems like the WBA, it seems like they don't like Pacquiao too much, because every time Pacquiao tries to put himself back in Max Planck. What's good with you, bro? Appreciate you for coming through, man. Appreciate you for coming through. Yeah, you can't put cuss words in the chat, man. It's already blocked, so you can't really put no cuss words in the chat. Move this up just a little bit more. Alright, so it seems like the WBA, man, they don't really like Pacquiao too much, man. Every time he tries to get a little leg up in the game, the WBA come along, man, and throw some type of monkey wrench in this game. So the latest monkey wrench they've thrown in there, apparently they have some type of they have a mandatory basically for lined up for Yordenis Ugas. And he has 128 days to fulfill this mandatory matchup, or that I believe he's going to be stripped of the title, or they're going to vacate the title and give it to the winner. I think they're trying to have another tournament for the lower belts in the WBA. So at the moment, there's a guy named, I know I'm going to mess his name up, but his name is Eimantas Stanionis of Lithuania. Eimantas Stanionis. He's the guy that they're trying to line you guys up to fight. And it's not only him, though, but there's others involved in this. This championship committee calls for a box off as necessary for the WBA Welterweight division in order to have one champion, said Carlos Chavez, chairman of the WBA committee, in the copy of the resolution obtained by BoxingScene. The resolution added that per the WBA rankings, eligible boxers are Ugas, regular WBA champion Jamal James, and I keep telling y'all, Jamal James, he got elevated to the regular champion. Radzhab Butaev, official challenger, and Santos, leading available contender. So it's really like a three-way going on for who you guys might have to fight. It might be they're saying this guy Santos is the leading because he's available. So they're saying that you guys has to match up with him because he's available. Now, if somehow Jamal James doesn't fight this other guy he's supposed to fight, because I think Jamal James is set to fight the other guy, Radzhab Butaev of Russia in November. So if that fight falls through, then you guys could face up with Jamal James. It's a mess in the WBA, man, because they got so many titles and they always got something going on as far as trying to put a tournament together. So it looks like we might not get the Pacquiao rematch after August. He has up until March to face off with his mandatory. So that's not a lot of time for him to make that fight. I don't know if the WBA will give him some leeway. 'Cause I think they're trying to have that tournament by that time. So I don't know if the WBA is going to give him leeway if he wants to make that Pacquiao rematch and say, hey, well, we'll give you an extra month or something. But right now, according to this article, it's not going. I don't think it's going to happen with you guys now. Which kind of sucks, man. Because now you got to think, where does Pacquiao go from here? Because if all this is mandatory and this is coming from the WBA, then there's no way that you can fit a Pacquiao fight. In 120 Pacquiao fight and fighting one of these other guys in 128 days. It's just not gonna happen. So you can pretty much, I would say, it's almost 60-40 now that the Pacquiao-Ugas rematch probably not going to happen. Give that boy step aside money. And so, I mean, what do y'all think about that, man? We got 6 people in here right now. Let me know what y'all think, man. Pacquiao's probably not going to be fighting you guys. I mean, it's not completely official yet, but according to this, there's no way you can make a Pacquiao fight with you guys before his deadline of 128 days is up. Ryan Lamb, what's good with you, fam? What's good with you? Try to check in a little early today, man. And like I said, I was going through the articles and I found this article about Pacquiao, you guys, and what's going on with the Pacquiao, you guys situation. Just to catch you up, if you didn't know, if you didn't see the beginning, Pacquiao, you guys too, probably isn't going to happen because the WBA ordered a mandatory who is named Eimantas Stanionis. I think I'm saying it right, from Lithuania. He's supposed to be the guy that you guys has to match up with before 128 days is up. So I don't know how he's going to fight Pacquiao and this other guy within 128 days. Now, Jamal James' name's being thrown around too, but Jamal James already has an opponent lined up. So I doubt he's going to be Jamal James, who he's facing off with. What y'all think? What y'all say? Match point card. Red, I am wrong. Isn't a rematch agreed to in the contract with you guys? I'm not sure about that. I was asking that before the fight happened because I mean it happened so fast. Nobody really paid attention to the terms of the contract. I don't know if he had a rematch clause with Earl Spence Jr. in that contract, so I really can't say. But even if he did have a rematch clause, he would be going against the WBA's ruling for a mandatory. I don't know how that works. If he does fight Pacquiao, would they just strip him and and have that tournament and elevate, I guess, Jamal James to the super champion? And it's a mess over at the WBA. But I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's not looking like it's going to happen because of this mandatory situation. But you don't know. You guys might decide to drop the title. Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he wants the money because Pacquiao fights bring in money. So he could do a Pacquiao fight and get some money, or he could do one of these other guys and probably not draw a crowd at all And but he would be. I don't see. This is what I don't understand. If they elevated you guys already to the super champion, and then they have the WBA regular championship, but if the super champion gets the regular championship, they take it away from him anyway. So I don't get the reasoning for this tournament, other than they're trying to get the up and coming fighter like the regular champion to fight the super champion. So I guess it'd be like a champion versus champion fight. I mean, the WBA is real weird when it comes to the way that they do things. Let me know what y'all think about that so far. If Pacquiao can't get the rematch because of this mandatory situation, what do y'all think Pacquiao should go from there? I mean, what's the next step? Should he be Because I feel like if the you guys fight's not gonna happen based off this mandatory, he should go. He should be trying to pursue Earl Spence. I think Earl Spence should be the next. Should be the next talk. He should go ahead. And you already had the Earl Spence fight signed. I know, and he didn't have a belt when Earl Spence signed the contract. So, I mean, it's not like Spence was fighting him for the belt. He was fighting him because he was gonna get a lot of money off of it. So, I would hope I would hope that Spence comes out and says, "Hey, I got injured before that, and I'm gonna go ahead and fight Pacquiao because it'd be a good look still for he was to beat Pacquiao, and it would be amazing if Pacquiao somehow pulled that fight off." Ryan says retire. The, I don't think he can retire on that you guys loss, and it's almost as bad a stain on his career as the loss to Marquez. Uh, just because of how people view that you guys fight, they feel like Pacquiao got beat up. So I don't think he can leave the sport on that note. It just doesn't look. It don't look good on Pacquiao's behalf for him to leave the sport on that note. I think he would take a lot of flack if he left on that note. Which is why I didn't want. I would have much rather him turn that fight down than for him to have taken that fight on short notice. If they would have put that fight together back when I was calling for it, back before, back in the wintertime and stuff, it would have been different. But it is what it is. We got what we got. I just feel like Pacquiao gets put in weird situations a lot of times, man. And I really don't think the WBA likes him too much anymore. I think the WBA really wants Pacquiao out of the way. They're tired of being in the Pacquiao business. Because for them to do that, knowing that Pacquiao, you guys, JD says you guys face beat up bad. I mean, he did look just as bad as Pacquiao in that fight. I'm not saying that Pacquiao didn't do what he could in the fight. He just couldn't move his legs, and when you guys was throwing that big loop punch, he couldn't get out of the way of it. So I would love to have a rematch. I want to see the rematch. I think Pacquiao wants the rematch. I think the money would be nice for you guys, but I don't know how the WBA is gonna handle this situation. Are they gonna give you guys a pass to fight Pacquiao, or are they gonna stick with their word about the mandatory? I would guess that they're gonna stick to their word about the mandatory, and we're just not gonna see the rematch. I would be leaning more toward that, and so it's a situation now where Pacquiao has to figure out what's next. Do I go after Spence? Because I'm probably not gonna get a Crawford fight around the December January time frame because he's about to fight Sean Porter. The only other big name out there, Earl Spence would be back healed by that time. Definitely around December, January, he would be ready. He would be good to go. So, I mean, the only other thing is maybe perhaps we actually get that Spence Pacquiao fight that we were looking forward to. How the fight would turn out, we don't know. We don't know how Spence is gonna look when he first comes back. But I think it would be a good fight for him, being that Pacquiao's coming off a loss and he's coming off an injury. So it would be a nice. It would be I think fans would be still interested in it. JD says, I would pay for it again. Huh. You talking about the Ugas fight? I enjoyed the Ugas fight. I was just mad I didn't get to watch all of the fight because I was trying to live stream and watch the fight at the same time. And of course, as soon as I go live for the fight, then YouTube starts messing up, which don't make sense, but here's what it is. Oh my God, JD. Ah man, I appreciate that super chat, bro. I appreciate that, man. Y'all gotta do that, man. I'm gonna shout you out anyway. But I do appreciate that, bro. Good looking, man. We got to pin that to the top. Let me see if I can pin. Oh, I won't let me pin it. I don't know why it won't let me pin it. It won't let me pin it. I guess it pins the super chats myself. But I made you a moderator, JD, man. Anytime you come in the chat from now on, you can kick them, man, if they get. I appreciate it, man. Now you got the ability to kick people out. But anyway, I think all right, back to what I'm saying. I think Earl Spence is the way to go, man. I think the Earl Spence fight, since we didn't get that in the beginning, since we didn't get it when we were supposed to get it, it's perfect timing. You know, Crawford's already fighting somebody. All good, mate. I enjoy your streams, man. I appreciate that again, JD, bro. But Crawford's already fighting Porter, so you know he's out of the picture if Pacquiao's truly trying to fight in January, February. You guys is off the table now if he has to stick to this mandatory situation. Caps, what's good with you, bro? And you know, it's perfect time for Earl Spence to come back, have a tune-up fight. But even though Pacquiao's not a tune-up, but he's coming off a loss, so it's almost like a tune-up fight. Max Payne says, "Okay, then screw you guys, Spence. You're up." That's what I'm saying. It's almost like perfect timing, you know. So because Spence said he needed like 2 months, 3 months for his eye to recover. He would have that 2 months plus an extra month, and then you know what it would be October, November, December. If they did it in January, he would get his 2 months plus 2 months to train, so it would be perfect timing. You know, it'd be 4 or 5 months from now. So it would actually be perfect time. They could do a New Year's fight. That would give like I said, Earl Spence plenty of time for that eye to heal up or whatever, and you know a couple of weeks to train, and you know we could put the fight on. And I think it would be, since it would be a New Year's fight, I think there would be a lot of interest around that, and it would sell really well. But it's all going to depend. We still haven't heard from Pacquiao yet. We don't know what his decision is going to be. He hasn't even said whether he's going to come back or not officially yet. Even though his team put out they were trying to fight in December, January, they put that out there. So I'm pretty sure if he didn't want that to be out there, he wouldn't have let him. He wouldn't have let him put that info out there. Well, let me know what y'all think, man. Let me know. Yeah. I got to touch on the other topic. I forgot about it. Pacquiao's ranking. I just found Pacquiao's new rankings. Where'd it go? Yeah, a lot of people are reporting about that box off with you guys now. All right, so I found it. All right, so this is according to fieldboxing.com. These are the rankings for Manny Pacquiao at the moment. Manny Pacquiao is ranked number 3 in the WBC. He's ranked number 3 in the WBA. He's ranked number 3 in the IBF. He's ranked 5 in ring. He's ranked number 5 in BoxRec, and he's ranked number 6 in ESPN, and he's ranked number 8 as TBRB welterweight contender. I have no idea what that means. But that's pretty interesting. So in the WBC, you got Earl Spence, Sean Porter, Virgil Ortiz, and Manny Pacquiao. A lot of people have been talking about Virgil Ortiz and Manny Pacquiao fight Ortiz. Would that be a good fight? What do y'all think about that? In the WBA, you got Yordenis Ugas, Jamal James, Eimantas Stanionis, Virgil Ortiz, and Manny Pacquiao. The IBF, you got Earl Spence, Cabaroto, I don't know how to say his name, Sean Porter, Manny Pacquiao. The WBA, you got WBO, you got Terrence Crawford, Virgil Ortiz, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia. The WBO doesn't even have Manny Pacquiao ranked. At least ranked Pacquiao except the WBO. And I wonder if that's because the WBO, Bob Arum runs the WBO. Interesting. What do y'all think about those rankings? Does that sound about right for Pacquiao? And that makes that Virgil Ortiz. Everybody keeps telling me about Virgil Ortiz. Pacquiao should fight Virgil Ortiz. It makes sense now. I haven't seen them fight, live yet, but it would make sense. They're ranked right next to each other for them to make that fight. So we might not get a Pacquiao Ugas rematch. We might not get a Pacquiao Spence fight right off the top, but you might get a Pacquiao Virgil Ortiz fight, which would be pretty interesting. I have to go study some Virgil Ortiz footage here tonight, and then maybe we can touch on that tomorrow. But yeah, definitely let me know in the chat. We got 7 people in here right now. Can we get up to 7 likes? Give me 7 likes. Let me know who thinks Manny Pacquiao should fight Virgil Ortiz. Who do y'all think Pacquiao can beat Ortiz? For the people in here that have seen Ortiz fight, who thinks that would be a good matchup? I'll give y'all a little while. I know the stream is lagged. I had to give me something to drink, man. This time my throat was dry. Yesterday it was dry. I was hacking. But that's interesting. Let's see who else could Pacquiao face off with in so Max says, "Oh no, that's bad for Pacquiao." Is Virgil Ortiz that? I mean, what does Virgil? You gotta educate me about Virgil Ortiz. Tell me, what do you think? What do you think Ortiz brings to the table that Pacquiao wouldn't be able to contend with? What do you think that is it? His speed, his hand speed, foot speed, his power? What's Virgil Ortiz got that Pacquiao cannot handle? Let me know. Educate me a little bit. And I'm gonna read off some more potential names. I'll give y'all a second to respond in the chat. I'm gonna read this list and see all the other potential names. They got Keith Thurman, number 5 in the WBC. I don't know how he's still ranked when he ain't fought in almost 3 years. He's not ranked anywhere else though. He's not ranked in the He's not ranked anywhere else. Caps, what's up, Caps? If he don't fight you guys or Spence, it was the plan from the get-go to blackball Pacquiao. And that's kind of how I felt, man. Remember, I got to go back and watch some of them videos I was making last winter, man, about just that very topic, and how I felt like Pacquiao could potentially be getting set up, for the same. I think I called it PBC boxing setting up Manny Pacquiao. I think that's the name of the video. And that's kind of how I felt when he went over. Like, they're gonna build him up a little bit and then use him and then turn him down and get rid of him. It's kind of similar to what Bob Arum was trying to do. The problem is when they strip Pacquiao it messed everything up. And when they stripped him, it makes me feel like that they did that on purpose. It really makes me feel like they did that on purpose now to put him in this position. He would either have to be fighting his way back to the top, or he just has to go away. And then you put him in a situation where he has to fight a bunch of fighters that he normally wouldn't have to fight if he still had that belt. He wouldn't have been facing off with you guys if he had that belt. It would have been he definitely would probably have either ended up fighting Spence or Crawford if he had the belt. It would have been no doubt. There would have been no need for him to fight you guys. So a lot of this stuff does seem. I mean, they've been blackballing Pac. All right, let's be honest. Let's all of Manny, and I never wanted to touch on this subject right here because I might get flagged by YouTube, but it don't matter. They already already been shadow banned. They did, Carter. All right, so here's the thing. Manny Pacquiao's been blackballed since he made those comments about the gay community or the gay community. When he made those comments, it was a downhill slope for Pacquiao. I don't know if y'all remember that incident, but when he made those, everybody turned on him. Nike turned on him. Bob Arum turned on him. Everybody turned on Pacquiao at that moment. So from that moment on, it's been like they've been trying to slowly break his career down and get him out of the way. And he can't fix what he said. He can only keep fighting on. It's been an ugly situation for Pacquiao since then. I think even and I don't want to go too deep into that. Some other people can cover that whole conspiracy. I might make a documentary about it. I might make a mini doc about it because I feel like that was the beginning of the end for Pacquiao. That was when it all started coming down for Pacquiao. It and then I think the Marquez incident was next. Then the Mayweather, it was just a bunch of bad timing things for Pacquiao after that. After that whole when he made those comments, so man, they are blackballing. Blackballing started a long time ago. Pacquiao's just so good; he's been able to beat people that other fighters at his age probably wouldn't be able to beat. It's not that he got bad; it's that they just stopped promoting him because of what he said. His skills never changed. And go back and check people's videos. Everybody was rocking with Pacquiao up until that moment. Up until that point, it's when even boxing channels turned on him. Because it's all about the money at the end of the day. And let's be honest, that community controls a lot of the money in the media, in the social media world. They have a huge chunk of that money. So you got to have them on your side if you want to win in life, man. And he peed off a lot of people when he made those comments, and it was like the beginning of the end for Manny Pacquiao at that point. JD says, yeah, I agree. Yeah, he should have thought before he spoke. I mean, it was a real bad look, and that started a snowball. And when I saw Bob Arum turned on him after that, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Then Nike dropped him. Nobody wanted to work with him. So it's been an uphill battle for Pacquiao since that day. Ryan Lambs, those comments of on the community offended the LDBC. And a lot of people talk about the LDBC. I don't watch a lot of, I keep telling you I don't watch these guys, and I don't really partake in their content simply because I don't like watching people who scream at the screen. Like I can't watch your content if your 30 minutes of your content is you screaming at the screen. I can't, I don't know how to break that. Mentally, I can't break that down. I'm used to the old school, back when ESPN was running things, and it wasn't so much the social media, active way of doing it and trying to give you information. I'm used to normal ways of receiving information. So when I try to watch some of those guys, I just can't get into it. But obviously, because uh, so many people talk about the LDBC, that they have to have a big following. I was introduced to them by Caps, because I think he deals with one of the guys. He does some videos with one of the guys from over. So Caps knows more about the LDBC than I do. I don't know if that offended their community, because I haven't watched enough of their videos to know. But I'm pretty sure they're a big community, so I'm pretty sure they're getting some of that uh they getting some of that money I was talking about from that community, which runs a lot of social media now. The gay community, they have a big chunk of money that they use to influence certain that they put into certain people's channels, and it's what happens. So when you saw a lot of channels turn on Pacquiao, that was the reason why. Because if you want to get those checks, you can't be pissing off everybody. LOL. I wonder why LDBC hated Pac now. I know. Yeah. What did he say? I can't repeat what he said on her, because you know how YouTube is, man. They'll shut this down in a hot second if I repeat what he said. But he definitely, it was something you definitely don't say in the public eye. Yeah, you definitely don't say that in the public eye. Because and it was at the beginning of all that y'all talking about, that LG stuff. It was at the beginning of them passing laws to protect that community. So it was real bad timing on Pacquiao's part for him to make those comments. I mean, that was definitely something you shouldn't say in the public eye. Not around nobody who reports or does media at all. There was some, you don't say, some stuff you don't say. Pacquiao should have worn pink shorts with the purple tabs. I mean, I don't know what he does in his personal life to what he did to try to make amends with that community. I don't know, if he just said, to hell with it. I don't know what he exactly did. But I just know. Here's another thing. After that incident, if y'all remember, after that incident is when Pacquiao found God, because there was some. I think that around that same time was with all the stuff that came out about him, possibly cheating on his wife, and, and all that stuff was coming out, all because you got to think. I think the timing of that was because of what he said, and then news sources that know certain things just started leaking information about Pacquiao, trying to bring him down. But at the same time, that's when he started finding God. That's when he found God, because he was trying to change his ways, and he stopped being extreme Pacquiao, knocking everybody out, and he was a little more docile Pacquiao now. He's the Pacquiao he is now. And taking nothing away from him, I still feel like he's pretty much 90% of what he was then, but he's not the same Pacquiao he was before that day. He's never been the same Pacquiao he was before he made those comments. Just to be completely honest with everybody, man. We got 10 people in here, man. Can I get 10 likes, man? I would appreciate that, you guys. Really need it for the algorithm, man. Once again, I want to thank JD, man, for that. Let's see what he sent me. JD sent me a super chat, man. So thank you again, JD, for that. I don't know if you're still in here, bro, but salute to you, brother. So, I mean, with all that being said, because we were supposed to be talking about the rankings, but then I then I went off into the whole the whole situation that happened with Pacquiao a few years ago, which I like I said, I feel like that was the snowball that sent it all rolling. The snowball that took Pacquiao down. It tried that was the incident that they tried to take Pacquiao down with. And then and after that, it was a bunch of incidents where they kept trying to take Pacquiao down. Like Caps was saying, he's been blackballed. That's exactly right. But I think people they have the timeline wrong because he didn't just now get blackballed. He's been blackballed since comments. Been trying to take his career down since he made those comments. The Marquez incident, the Floyd Mayweather incident, the Jeff Horn incident. And now you got the Earl Spence, Yordenis Ugas incident. I mean, it just keeps happening. And you should be able to see the pattern of what's really going on and what. And a lot of that has to do with, like I said, with money. A lot of these people behind the scenes, a lot of these boxing organizations, they won't Pacquiao out of the way because he commands too much money, and because of that situation where he made those comments, they feel like Pacquiao's kind of protected, which people forget too. Pacquiao's insulated because he doesn't live in America. So even if he made some type of slip up or he said something that he shouldn't have said, he can just go back to the Philippines and it's not going to affect his life. Like, you can't bar him from doing these type of commercials because he can go to the Philippines and make money. And plus he left with a whole bunch of money over to the Philippines. Like when he makes money, he doesn't the bulk of his money is not spent in America. It's spent in the Philippines, which is another mistake I think people be making. Is they think Pacquiao's broke, but they're not putting two and two together. Pacquiao is probably in his country richer than most people are in America. Because when you take American money to the Philippines, I think it's worth like 10 or 15 times more. So if he has $300 million, he's like a billionaire in the Philippines. He's like a billionaire in the Philippines. So I think people get it wrong when they think about Pacquiao and his wealth and everything. Pacquiao, when he made those comments, he got a big check. He made some real bad comments, and they've been trying to basically take him down and get money out of his pocket, and get the money out of him, keep him from being able to make those big old checks. They don't want to keep paying Pacquiao the 10, 15, $20 million paychecks no more. They want him out of the way. They want to go with these new guys who all they do is go get drunk and hang out with rappers and crash their car, ignorant black people stuff. They're not gonna jump off into the media and offend the whole community of people who probably buy your fights and spend a lot of money and stuff on your merchandise. So that's the real reason they want him out of the way. These new guys, they don't have any controversy telling them unless they're hanging out with some controversial rapper and the rapper says something stupid. And we all saw what happened to Earl Spence when he hangs out with rappers. He it's not funny, but he does stuff that rappers would do. He'll flip a Lamborghini over, So that's as about as controversial as it gets though with Earl Spence. He's a cool guy, He's the type of guy as a black man I can go hang out with him. I can kick it with him. He seems kind of down to earth. But Pacquiao same way. It's just different. I think if I don't know how I like Pacquiao, but I don't know how I would hang out with Pacquiao. Today, I think 15 years ago it'd be different, but today I don't see how because Pacquiao would probably want to go to church and would want to go work out, and then he probably would just want to go home and chill. He's probably not a out in public kind of guy. And then you go and he's a congressman too. I mean a senator, so he's probably not doing any of those rapper type things that other guys are doing. Well, we got way off topic. Let me see what y'all talking about. Well, then I agree with Pac. IMO, he is correct. Political correctness is fu good. God said no, and Pacquiao found Jesus way back before that. Today's society is leaning evil. I don't mean he found Jesus at that moment, but he started pushing. He started pushing that narrative more. Like he always prayed before his fights and stuff, but he was being more out in the open with it after that, you know. And I think that was one of the reasons that they were blackballing him, or they were trying to get him out of the way or silence him, because he was bringing God into, and not only God, he was not only saying negative things about another community, but he was putting God behind it. So it was real, and I don't think Pacquiao understood exactly what he was doing, you know, and how bad of a look it was. Because you know there's still a language barrier. I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew that it had. How can I put this right? Things have changed in America so much that, you know, 10 years ago nobody would have cared if he would have made those comments. It would actually probably got a good laugh from a lot of people. And over there in the Philippines, they're a little more behind on time, so he could say something like that in the Philippines, and they're not going to smack his hand about it. Where in America, like I said, and especially right at that time where they were signing laws to make certain stuff illegal, it that was a real bad look for Pacquiao at that moment, and that, believe me, that's what derailed a lot of what he had going on. Pacquiao would be so, if he would have never made those comments, Pacquiao would be so big as an athlete right now. He would be a lot more celebrated. Y'all wonder why Pacquiao's not celebrated so much. That's one of the reasons why he's not celebrated as much as perhaps he probably should be. All right, Captain Fool, what's cracking, man? What's cracking? Yeah, he did. He didn't. He don't drink and vary. I don't know what you're trying to say. Cap says Virgil Ortiz, Shakur Stevenson, Boots Ennis. These fighters are next in the welterweight division. Spence and Crawford are closed in. Their time is catching up. And here's the thing about Spence and Crawford. I think people are not paying attention to. I don't think that I don't think their best years are going to be at welterweight. And I feel like they're kind of wasting a lot of time, because both of those guys can go up and make some tremendous money uh, fighting the Charlo brothers, or trying to get a fight with Canelo. I know Earl Spencer has touched on it before. Terrence Crawford really hasn't touched on it, but Earl Spencer's already put it out there that that's what he wants, is to move up and weight, and to challenge Canelo. So time is running out, and I think Earl Spencer's going to be the first one to make that jump up into the big leagues. I don't think Terrence Crawford. I think Terrence Crawford is going to linger around 147 a lot longer, and probably end up getting beat by one of the up and comers. You know, maybe Shakur, maybe Virgil, Boots. I've seen Shakur Stevens, but I haven't seen Ortiz, or I've seen the beginning of an Ennis fight, but I didn't really know who he was, so I didn't watch the whole thing. So, uh, but I think Terrence Crawford's gonna linger around the welterweight division more, and probably end up getting beat before he moves up in weight. And I think you're gonna see Earl Spence probably within the next year, you know, within the next year, probably move up in weight. Because there's no reason for him to sit around and wait for Terrence Crawford. You know, he's already a unified champion, and he has a bigger name than Crawford, so he can move up and make a whole lot more noise than I think Crawford can at the moment. So I mean, really, time is running out for Pacquiao, man. He has to make a big move here, and set himself up for something, because he could even move up in weight and go fight somebody. He doesn't have to stay at 147. So I would hope that if he can't get a you guys rematch, Errol Spence doesn't want to honor the fact that he was supposed to fight him and then pulled out at the last minute. Terrence Crawford won't fight him because Bob Arum won't let him. Why not just go up and meet Canelo or Triple G at a catch weight and just retire, or maybe even one of the Charlo brothers, because I think it would be big money. He just needs another big money fight, man, and then just go on and retire because he's putting himself through too much. Trying to fight these guys who don't want to fight him. I guess he's just too dangerous, and these guys don't want to risk it. I don't blame him in a lot of ways, but I don't want to see him linger around and linger around and linger around and keep having to fight guys like you guys that he's not really prepared for and keep getting beat. Matt says talk is Earl Spence Jr. is having a struggle making 147. I've heard that before. I mean he even said it himself, I think. He would rather move up than to keep fighting at 147. I can't remember the exact comment that he made, but he said something to that effect. Cap says after Crawford versus Porter, what's next? If no Crawford versus Earl, what's next? Boots beats both. I guess I got to check out Boots. What do you think about Virgil Ortiz versus Pacquiao? Caps. I see you like Boots. Or Pacquiao versus Boots. Do you think you could beat either one of those guys? You think he should stop trying to pursue uh, Crawford and Spence and just go after one of the up and coming young guns? See if he can take one of the real young guns down. Because I think it's almost like it's almost like wasting your time trying to get a fight with Spence and Crawford. Something's gonna happen to where it's not gonna happen. No way, Pac at 154. He's a natural 140. But he can make 154 easy. I think it would be smarter for him to go up in weight than to go down in weight. Because I think he outspeeds a lot of those guys at 154. It's dangerous if he gets hit flush by one of them, but I think because of his speed, it would be harder for those guys at 154 to hang with Pacquiao. At 140, I think his speed can be matched at this point at 140. So it would be almost like a disadvantage for him to go down in weight, because those 140-pound fighters they can match his hand speed. At this age, at 154, those guys wouldn't be able to match his speed. So I think it would be I think he can beat a lot more of those guys based off his speed. It's been almost an hour, man. Let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna wrap it up here, man. Cap says, not Boots, maybe Virgil, not Boots. Boots is strong switcher. Oh, so Boots is a switch hitter. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Appreciate that, Caps, man. Interesting. So, it's a few options out there for Pacquiao. We can't give up on the you guys rematch just yet, but with that mandatory situation in there, it's not really looking good, man. It's really not looking good. Uh, I don't agree with that. I don't think he lost speed. I mean, he matched you guys punch for punch. He just wasn't moving, and that has to do with the legs. It don't really have to do with the arms. I don't think his hand speed it was in question in the you guys fight. I think the only thing was in question was why wasn't he moving his legs, which makes a lot of sense why he wasn't moving his legs if he was cramping up. And you can't blame cramps on a degrade of skill set, or you can't say him having cramps shows his age. He just had cramps, and on a obviously on a different night or in a different circumstance, that wouldn't have been the version of Pacquiao we got. So it's still a good enough version of Pacquiao for him to beat a lot of these guys. You can't base that fight. Uh, you can't take that fight and say, well, we're going to get that same version of Pacquiao when he fights again. I don't think that's going to happen. The cramps were obviously a major factor, and he just couldn't move. But he still matched Pat. Look, you guys' face looked just as bad as Pacquiao's face did. If Pacquiao could have had just a little bit of movement, it would have won him the fight. But he obviously couldn't move his legs. That makes sense. Pac loves revenge. Yeah, definitely. He always looks a lot better when he comes back the second time. A lot of you guys' punches did not connect. Also, I mean, which is true. I don't think you guys did anything really good in that fight except land that looping punch. And there's no way in hell I feel like Pacquiao would ever get hit by that punch again. And when he comes back, I think he's gonna be so. If they fought again, I think he would be so prepared, and he would make you guys look so bad that they would be clamoring for him to fight Earl Spence, which I don't want to. He should be at this point. It should be Spence or Crawford or nobody else. That's what it should have been in the first place. He should have never took that you guys fight unless he was going to take it months and months and months ago before they even talked about the Spence and Crawford fight. And that's when he should have took it. But at that moment, it was wrong for him. It should have been Spence or Crawford or nobody. If he couldn't have got either one of those, if they said, "Hey, Spence can't go," he should have been like, "Well, I'm going to wait 3 or 4 months until I can fight Spence. I'm not gonna go fight nobody, and then lose to him, and then have to go through all this crap uh, again. Like, why he shouldn't have to fight you guys again to get to fight Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford? It don't even make sense. Let's see. No speed like he had when he fought Margarito. I mean, that was 8 or 9 years ago. This thing about fighters, man. Fighters evolve over time, but everybody evolves over time. So we'll never get that Margarito version of Pacquiao back. We'll get something similar, but it's gonna be different. We'll never get that version that beat Morales or Barrera or De La Hoya. You're never gonna see that version of Pacquiao again. You'll get a similar but new version of Pacquiao every time. It's the way everything evolves over time. It's not his skills got worse. He's going in a different direction. He's using his skills in a different way. I don't feel like he's degraded. I don't feel like his hand speed was in question in the you guys fight. I feel like his legs just wasn't working for him on that night. And I think the next time, if and when we see Pacquiao again, you're gonna see a totally different version. Y'all saw what Horn did. Pac will take too much punishment at 154. I don't agree with that. Everybody thinks he beat Horn. I think he beat Horn. Everybody who Pacquiao's faced up with, who was bigger, who ballooned back up. Even Keith Thurman ballooned back up, before that fight. He destroyed Keith Thurman. So I don't think that's the fact that they rehydrated way bigger than Pacquiao is the reason why he lost. You guys should up like a crab, shelled up like a crab. He was getting hit. He was getting dinged up, man, in that fight. The best revenge is Pac versus Tank. Same size and reach. Tank starts off slow. Would be a great fight. Bet Mayweather boxer. Beat Mayweather boxer. It would be a good fight. But that's a really dangerous fight for Pacquiao to go down and take. Unless it would be a good fight if Tank plans on moving up to welterweight. If Tank plans on moving up to welterweight, it would be a perfect first welterweight fight for Tank. It would be the perfect welterweight measuring stick for Tank. But I don't like that fight at 140 or 130 pounds at all. Agree. Should have backed out with P Boy Floyd. Not backed out. Should have rescheduled. He should have, but there was so much money on the line. And going back to what I was talking about earlier with his whole situation with what he said about the certain community of people, Pacquiao had a lot of pressure on him at the time, and he was still with Bob, so he had a lot of pressure and a lot of things I think he had to fulfill for Bob to get his money. So we can't change the past, man. But he should have he should have definitely at least got his cortisone shot for the Floyd Mayweather. I think if he got his cortisone shot for that Mayweather fight, he might have knocked Mayweather out. We saw him stun Mayweather a couple of times in that fight, and I think if that arm was just a little bit numb, Pacquiao wouldn't have been so afraid to throw. But it is what it is. People always expect Manny to be all over someone when he's not. They automatically say he's losing. Exactly, man. I don't understand that. It's just because we saw him be such a whirlwind at the lower weights. People are missing the fact that he's not at those lower weights no more, and that these are bigger fighters. So even if he did hit at, you know, 30 punches at 140 are not the same as 30 punches at 147. Those guys can absorb punches better than those 140-pound fighters can. So even if Pacquiao did land a 5-10 punch combination on a 147-pound fighter, it's not going to be like landing it on 140 or 130, because he would have probably knocked those guys out at 130 and 140, where he's bruising these 147-pound fighters up really bad. It's why a lot of those guys, when they fight Pacquiao, they bruised up really all over the place. It's because, the punches that he throws, they would probably knock out a 140 or 130, but they just bruise 147 guys up really bad, which would carry over to 154. He would just be bruising those 154-pound fighters up really bad because he's a whole lot quicker than them. All right, let me see what y'all saying. Right, I'm talking about the speed decrease. I don't think his speed's ever decreased. I really don't think he, like Captain said it the other day. He threw like 100 more punches around versus you guys than Spence threw around in his last fight. So I don't think his speed's decreased. I just think he's fighting bigger fighters, and he has to approach these fights different than he did he could be reckless at 130 and 140 because the guys that were throwing back at him, most of them didn't have knockout power. 147 pounds, those guys have knockout power versus Pacquiao because Pacquiao's a naturally smaller 147 pounder. So he has to be more cautious when he fights those 147, 150-pound fighters. Simply for that reason. It has nothing to do with, to me, with Pacquiao slowing down. It's just those guys absorb punches differently. I'm with you partially. Let me try to get through this real fast. I did too, but Pac took punishment. He did take, but he was just standing there, so he definitely took punishment. If Pac is old, how in you guys fight he throw over? Yeah, Captain 4G pointed it out again. He threw over 800 punches, and Spence only threw around 700 punches. He threw over 800 punches, and they were pointing it out in the you guys fight that he threw more punches than you guys, but still lost the fight, which really don't make sense. Now think about this: if he was actually moving just a little bit in that fight, that's why I know it was something wrong. His legs were at least cramping. Because if he would have moved just a little bit in that fight, he definitely would have won because he outpunched you guys. He just needed to move. And if he could have got you guys to miss on 1 or 2 or 3 of those big looping punches, he would have won that fight on points. So y'all looking at this all wrong. I don't think his skills have degraded in any way. I actually think he's gotten better. He just had a bad night, man. He had a bad night. His legs cramped. It shows you how important the legs are in the sport of boxing. You can punch all day long, but if you can't move out of the way of punches, then you're gonna get hit, and you're gonna get rocked. Anybody else, any other fighter would have probably got knocked out that night. All right, let's see. Yeah, Horn didn't do enough to take it dirty. Got away with everything he tried it on Crawford, and the ref was straight on it. That's because Bob controls that, man. Bob controls who the referees and all that is. Let's not even. I don't want to get into the whole conspiracy talk of boxing and how boxing really is. But to be honest, it just is what it is, man. I wish we could change the past, and I wish Pacquiao would have got away from Arm a little earlier. Agree, JD. Agree. Pacquiao outlanded you guys by 100 punches. You guys was preparing for that fight for months. Pacquiao gonna beat you guys in the rematch, and Al Heyman knows this. That might be why they're trying to get, now they're trying to get Pacquiao out of the way of you guys in the same way they tried to get Pacquiao out of the way of Spence and Crawford. Because they know he still has what it takes to beat these guys, and they don't want him to beat these guys. It's so obvious now that they don't want him to be a champion again. And they're going to do anything possible to keep him from being a champion again. What he proved in that you guys fight is that he can still whoop A, and he can do it easily. If he could have moved just a little bit in the fight, he would have won. He would have won easily. So I mean, what that shows is, if he don't get his rematch, what that shows is Al Heyman, Bob Crawford, Spence, you guys, they all fear Pacquiao, and not because they can't beat Pacquiao, but they know Pacquiao still has what it takes to beat them, and that's very dangerous for a guy who's on his way out to be able to still beat these guys who are supposed to be the best in their division. It's dangerous for those promotional companies because it can derail somebody's career. Where Pacquiao is about to walk off into the sunset, he's looking for a big win to walk off into the sunset on, and these guys are trying to build themselves up and become more popular and fan friendly and all that stuff. That's why no 154 plus. Let's see. I match up in the comments, man. No Tank come up to 147. He wanted to fight Keith, right? Also, flat-footed Pacquiao threw over 800 punches. What happens if no cramps next time? That's what I'm saying, man. If there's no cramps, you're gonna see I keep telling y'all, you're gonna see an amazing version of Pacquiao, and that's why all this stuff I keep telling it seems fishy, man, when they do this to Pacquiao. It really does seem like that they just want him out of the way of the title fights. They don't want him in any kind of title fight. So they got to do what they got to do to get him out of the way of those title fights, man. Pac also said he can make 140 easy. He's a natural 140. He has to overeat to make 147. But it's not a good idea for him to go down in weight simply because those guys can match his speed. Those guys at 140 can match his speed. Those guys, when a guy like Pacquiao moves up, the weight starts to slow down the speed. For Pacquiao, it didn't happen that way. As he moved up, his speed started to increase. He got better and better and better. And that was because, like I just said, when you move up, normally speed decreases. So as Pacquiao moved up, he's a special case. As he moved up, his speed stayed pretty much steady or increased a little bit. And the guys he was fighting, as they moved up, their speed was coming down. So when he caught Margarito and all them, they couldn't match his speed. When he caught Brent, they couldn't match his speed. It was the speed that won Pacquiao those fights. So he's just a special case. But the problem now with him trying to fight at 140 is I think some of those guys down there at 140 might be able to match his speed. And it's not. I would rather those guys have to go up to 147 then Pacquiao try to fight those guys at 140. It's not. That's not a good. That's not a good idea to me. Max Wright Cap. I remember him saying that. Punishment against Horn. Cap says Tank want to be great move up, not Pac going down to 130. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely not a good idea, man. Sky Drugnov. I can't say what's up, Sky, bro. They did Pacquiao very dirty 10 days to adjust while opponent prepared for a lefty for months, had 2 years, and still whooped you guys more than any opponent of you guys with you guys juiced to the grill. It is funny that I think Pacquiao because the Porter you guys fight was so close, but Porter didn't do that type of damage to you guys that Pacquiao did. So you made a good point there. Pacquiao did. He put up a great performance, and this is. And hold on, let's throw one more thing in there. I was trying to get out for 10 minutes ago, but let's throw one more thing in there. You guys is the guy who beat Terrence Crawford, and Pacquiao went toe to toe with him. So hey, it is what it is. Let's just remember that. Matt says the final punch set report showed that you guys landed 37.3 of his total punches and 59.1% of his power punches compared to Pacquiao 16 total percent punches and 25 power punches. But that I think that's landed punches. That's not exactly what they threw totally. I don't think that's what they totally threw. But I think that's landed punches. Horn couldn't do that with TC because of style difference. You could say that. Terrence Crawford's also a little bit bigger than Pacquiao, so when Horn would throw himself at Terrence Crawford, he could catch Horn a little better than Pacquiao could. Pacquiao being so small, it was when he tried to catch Horn, it was almost like Horn just leaning on him and sapping out his energy. So it was a different fight because of the size difference. Terrence Crawford's a little bigger than Pacquiao. Cass Max, I understand that you guys landed, but if Pac owed those 800 punches would have been less. I can agree with that too. Plus, you gotta think, man. If Pacquiao was just a little bit mobile, man, it would have been a spectacular. I think we would have saw the same style of fight we saw him in the Thurman fight. I think we would have got that type of fight, but we didn't. He lost. All we can do is move on to a rematch, or hopefully we get something even better. Manny didn't do any worse than Porter. I think he did better than Porter, to be honest with you. Even without moving his legs, I think he did better in that fight than Porter did versus you guys. CompuBox is pure fallacy. I hear you, Cap, too. A young Pac would have had a higher percentage connection if his speed was there. He would have connected. You can't connect with the word angle punches if you can't move your legs, because you're not throwing those punches to begin with because you're not moving your legs. Is Tank faster than Pac? Also, Tank move up to 140 or 147 with Tank speed decrease. Tank definitely wouldn't be the same fighter at 147. He's already a pudgy guy, so at 147, unless he did a lot of cardio and got real cut, I don't see Tank ever going to 147. That's what I said. Pac versus Tank at 147. Margarito just keep coming forward no matter what, even if he's getting hit. So that's good for Pac. Excuse me. But you guys doesn't want to get hit. You guys was using his length and that looping punch. He was sizing Pacquiao because Pacquiao wasn't moving. He was sizing him with his with his jab, and then he was just connecting with the looping punch. It was easy for him because Pacquiao wasn't moving. Exactly. Was you guys? Hey, hold on real quick. Hold on real quick, y'all. I'll be right back, man. Somebody's calling me.
Louisville, home of the best scrapper, also home of the best rapper. Flow dapper, here's another chapter. Ride through, attack you, ride away your laughter. This is what I'm after, blowing on that rapper. Purple Dro, keep a bunch to blow. I don't serve it though, murder flow. If it goes down, I'm the first to know. Y'all niggas late, like the Conan show. Overdose, overload, sharp flow, leaving with the open throat. Lewis Keys, cool as Nova Scotia snow. Puff a blunt, poke a hole, nigga, you supposed to know. Lewis Keys, blowing blunts on the open road. Fuck a cop, fuck a speed limit, drive overdose. Keep a bad bitch, hips wide like Oprah's nose. And you know that I'm a fool, my freestyle's wet, I'm floating in the pool. You should pay your tuition, you're going to my school. Principal keys, you niggas getting held back. Fuck them little sacks, you can have your bread back. No refund, well here the G's come. Hit your ass up, leave you with your fucking head crack.
Louisville, Kentucky, 5-0.
My bad, y'all. My bad. My homie hit me up, man. I ain't talked to him in a minute, man. I didn't even know who it was. He talk about going out for his birthday. I don't really go out, but all right. What was we at? We was talking about something. All right. So exactly was you guys was tested for? No, that ain't the one I was on. Margarito, just keep you guys. You guys was tested for VADA 2 weeks for 2 weeks. Guys, don't get on the wrong. You guys was you guys versus Medina was canceled because Medina eye injury, but was that fight tested in VADA? No, I checked. You guys not enrolled in VADA. Now I was making a point about something. And man, that it interrupted my whole point. My whole train of thought. But you're having a good conversation there, man. All right. Let's get back to it. Pac versus box is not good. Uh, and people say that all the time that Pacquiao's not good when he goes up against a pure boxer. I don't agree with that because I don't. It depends on what you consider a pure boxer. People say Mayweather's a pure boxer, but a pure boxer has both aspects. He has offense and defense, and we know for a fact Mayweather's is 90% defense and 10% offense. So if you're saying that based off the Mayweather fight or based off of people saying that you guys is a pure fighter that's had a fight in Cuba, you guys is not a pure boxer in no way. You guys is a counterpuncher, and what he was doing was counterpunching Pacquiao with that looping punch the whole night. He didn't show pure boxing skills. He measured Pacquiao with the jab, but he wasn't working off the jab. Like he wasn't landing the jab and then throwing multiple punches off the jab. So, which is what most pure boxers do. So I wouldn't. I don't think Pacquiao does bad against pure boxers. I think that's just a talking point that a lot of channels and boxing commentators use to down Pacquiao. Because Oscar De La Hoya was one of the best pure boxers out there, and Pacquiao took him apart. If you want to talk about pure boxers, now that Oscar De La Hoya is a pure boxer. Mayweather's not a pure boxer. Mayweather's a defensive fighter. He's a defensive style fighter. Pacquiao's an offensive style fighter. De La Hoya was a pure boxer. Bernard Hopkins was a defensive fighter. Marquez is a counterpuncher. Eric Morales was a speedy fighter. He was a speedy offense. Everybody has different styles, man. Okay, I can see that. Red, excellent assessment on your views with Pac's recent fight with you guys. Keep it up. Good work, brother. Signing out. Gotta work. I appreciate you, Maximus. Uh, later. Pac has always had problems with that Luke Chuck out that Marquez fight. Yeah, Marquez did land a lot of them looping punches on Pacquiao too, which is weird because Marquez is kind of short, and you wouldn't think that that would work, but obviously Pacquiao's right there for he's right there for it in that Marquez fight for some reason. Pacquiao enrolled in Nevada, plus been tested for. I never questioned Pacquiao's blood test. That was definitely something weird. What do y'all think was going on with you guys' arm? Do y'all think it was some type of IV or something illegal going on with his arm? Nobody's really talked about the arm of you guys and what was going on with that weird looking bicep. I know they said it was torn, but that didn't look like no bicep tear. Captain Wood, you're right, and you guys hasn't got VADA tested even once. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. All right, haha. Spence has that. Uh, I can't stay see what this is. You guys has not tested VADA. Period. Not even enrolled. Thank you, Sky. Exactly. Boxers are excellent counter punchers, but that don't make them a pure style fighter. I don't even know what you could base a pure boxer off of. Like who's a pure boxer? Nobody's one dimensional. No fighter is one dimensional. But the closest I would say to a pure style boxer would have to be De La Hoya because De La Hoya did so much work off of his jab. You know, he did a lot of work off the jab. So I don't know what you would even consider a pure boxer. Everybody has a different style. You guys didn't even go into the offense once he went full defensive and guarding Pacquiao was preparing for a counter for the Spence fight. And that's why he game plan. That's why his game. Damn it. That's why his game plan isn't that much sharp. Uh, I wouldn't totally agree with that. I would say definitely there was something going wrong with his legs. I don't think his game plan was off. Cause listen, you guys look just as bad as Pacquiao did at the end of that fight. So nothing that Pacquiao did as far as hands went was wrong. What where he went wrong was his foot movement and not be able to move his legs. That I'm gonna leave it there. I don't think anything else was the reason why Pacquiao didn't win that fight, other than there was something wrong with his legs. He didn't use leg movement, whether it was cramps or he just didn't use leg movement. Yeah, you guys, big long arms. He shell up hard for small Pac, so Pac done well. Oscar not a pure boxer. He was a well-rounded fighter. He could box. He could fight inside. That's what I'm saying, though. He was the closest replica of a pure boxer that I can think of because he did so much work off of his jab. You saying that TC, Ali, Sweet Pea, Julian Jack? You saying those are all pure boxers? Because I don't even Ali, and people say Ali was one of the great pure boxers, but Ali would brawl. Ali would go and do the rope a dope. Ali didn't have just one style. No fighter in history of fighting ever had one style because you can't do one style an entire fight and versus multiple fighters because it would be too easy for fighters to figure out your style. You know, you can't fight one style of fight forever against everybody. It won't work ever. Ali got beat because he was doing the same thing over and over, and they figured it out. They figured out, well, if you put a bigger, stronger guy in there against him, somebody who can bruise him up, then you can knock him out, and that's exactly what happened. And then he changed the style up. he started doing new stuff. He threw the rope opener, and then he started beating bigger, stronger fighters that people thought he couldn't fight because he didn't stick to the one thing that got him where he was. Freddie Roach particularly sabotaged Pacquiao. He called up a to massage Pacquiao's legs 30. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. We talked about the conspiracy theories yesterday, man. But definitely, I think Roach. I won't say he sabotaged it, but I will say, as a boxing coach, Freddie Roach should have known that a massage before a fight is a no-no. Obviously, I won't say I'm never gonna blame Freddie Roach, but I will say Freddie Roach has a conflict of interest, and he should have known better than a massage before a fight. But because I got so much respect for Freddie Roach, I would never say he purposely sabotaged Pacquiao. I'm not gonna say he purposely sabotaged. I would never think anybody in that camp, not Justin Fortune, not Boo Boy, not Freddie Roach, and even what's his name, the guy who handles Pacquiao's business affairs. I can't think of his name, but I don't. I feel like they all have his best interests at heart. I think the communication a lot of times is off because of the language barrier and because they're being Americans and Filipinos in the camp. Sometimes sometimes I think things get lost in translation when it comes to Pacquiao, and it plays against him a lot of times. So I'm not gonna blame Freddie Roach for their loss, man. I don't want to do that to Freddie Roach. I don't feel like Freddie, he should have known that was a bad idea to massage them legs. But I'm not gonna say he purposely did it. I won't say he purposely did it. I won't put that on Roach, man. I like Freddie Roach. So, man, Shane Gibson, yeah. I think they all got his best interest at heart. I think there's a definitely a language barrier, and I think there's a lack of communication, and that's usually what breaks a team down is the lack of communication. Not being able to communicate with each other properly is usually what tears a team apart. So when you got Boo Boy wanting Pacquiao to do one thing, but then you got Freddie Roach telling Boo Boy this, but Boo Boy might alter because he's speaking to Pacquiao in Tongolese, so we don't know. He might not be telling Pacquiao nothing that Freddie Roach. We don't know. That's why I say Roach at this point shouldn't be making the calls inside the ring. Roach should be preparing Pacquiao outside the ring and showing Boo Boy what he needs to know, and Boo Boy should be making all the calls inside the ring. And Roach should only be a go-between. He should be outside of the corner. He should be standing on the outside of the corner, giving Boo Boy pointers in between rounds, and Boo Boy should be communicating that in the ring with Pacquiao. There's too much confusion going on in Pacquiao's corner during fights. That's a major flaw in Pacquiao's team, and they need to address that. They don't necessarily have to take Roach out of the equation, but they don't need to be two coaches in there trying to give Pacquiao instructions at the same time. That's a recipe for disaster a lot of times. Everybody knows that massages for after Justin overtrained Pac. He lost control of Pac. Uh, Justin Fortune has no say so in the camp. Y'all putting something on Justin Fortune that Justin Fortune doesn't deserve. Justin Fortune is only there for nutrition and strength and conditioning. He doesn't have any say so. Freddie Roach, if Freddie Roach doesn't want Pacquiao to run, Justin Fortune, I don't think has the call. He can't make the call to make Pacquiao run. If Freddie Roach doesn't want Pacquiao to spar that day, Justin Fortune can't say, "Hey, Pacquiao, go spar today." He doesn't have that type of say so within the camp. So y'all can't put this on Justin Fortune. It's not his fault. You know, if anybody, it's Freddie Roach's fault because he's the main trainer. But I'm not gonna put it on Roach either because there were so many breakdowns. Shane Gibson should have known better than to sign a fight on 2 weeks' notice because he basically controls Pacquiao's career. He should have known better there. Freddie Roach should have known better than to give him a massage. Uh, Justin Fortune should have known better than to be running Pacquiao so hard, knowing that he had already been training for 3 months, pretty much. And Boo Boy should know better than to argue with Freddie Roach in the corner during a fight. You know, everybody made a mistake. We can't put it on just one person. The whole camp had a breakdown. That it was a complete camp breakdown. No one person takes the blame for this fight. Everybody takes the blame. So you know, we can throw all the theories and conspiracies out there and have all the arguments we want. But at the end of the day, Pacquiao lost, man, and as a team, they need to address the reasons that they lost as a team. It's not, you know, Pacquiao's the fighter, but this is still a team sport. You know, he needs a trainer. He needs a guy to handle his business. He needs a strength and conditioning. All these pieces got to work. They got to coexist for him to win. And when they not coexisting, then he loses. So let's not blame one person and play the blame game. Let's focus on what Pacquiao does to fix that, and never have it happen again, and focus on him getting better fights. These conspiracy theories ain't gonna change what happened, you know. And y'all can make all the great videos and point out all the aspects of the fight and say that, you know, this went wrong and this guy, it's not going to change the record books. Same way with the Jeff Horn. We can't change what happened with Jeff Horn. We can't change what happened with Marquez or Mayweather. We can only address what Pacquiao needs to do to never have it happen again. That's that I think that's the problem right now. Is people are trying to make up theories and like they're going to change the outcome of the fight. The fight is history now. We can only get better and move on. You can only get better and move on at this point, bro. Uh, Rich G, I remember that with Hitman Burns. Boo Boy has the eye of the tiger, ready for war. Let's go. Yeah, I think Boo Boy should be he should be calling the shots in the corner. Freddie Roach should be on the outside, instructing Boo Boy during the rounds. But he's the responsible to drive that part of the program. Watch my last video. Fortune and Boo Boy was in the corner in the Matisse fight. They all was in the corner. That's what's so bad is that they all be trying to give Pacquiao pointers at the same time, and it's just too much confusion. Since Boo Boy speaks the native language, he should be given the instructions because he can articulate exactly what Pacquiao needs to do. Freddie Roach speaks very slowly. He has Parkinson's disease. He can't give Pacquiao timely information. And Boo Boy, and he don't speak Filipino. So he can't give Pacquiao timely information. Only Boo Boy can give timely information to stuff that Pacquiao needs to know right at that moment in a fight. Only Boo Boy can do that. So it's time for Pacquiao to realize, or it's time for somebody in that camp to realize that Roach can't be the point man in the corner. Only Boo Boy should be the point man giving information. Now, whether you can trust Boo Boy to tell Pacquiao exactly what Roach says, I don't know, but that would solve all the confusion in the corner. That would solve 90% of the confusion in the corner. Agree, bad management. Yeah, that's some bad mismanagement, and that goes back to all this stuff too with what was going on with Adi Attar, and man, it's been a mess with Pacquiao this past couple of months, man. And you guys and Lucas had the same reach, 69 arm reach. But at the end of the day, Pacquiao still fought his fight, and best believe my boy coming back smarter this time around. Manny going to out going out on top. I see it happening like that too, man. I see it happening like that, Bentley, man. I appreciate you for coming through. Caps in full. Love the Matisse fight. Pac looked mean, and handled business. I think the president of the Philippines might have been at that fight. Pac wasn't playing no games. Yeah, I think the president of the Philippines was there too. I remember him standing behind Pacquiao before that fight. And you remember Pacquiao put that fight on, so them guys might have invested in that fight as well with Pacquiao. Exactly, Rich G. Bentley Roach was not there at that fight. No, Boo Boy handled that fight. Boo Boy was the point man on that fight. That's why I say, he looked good with Boo Boy. I wanted Roach back in the camp, but they should have kept Boo Boy as the point man. He don't have to be the main coach. He just needs to be the guy because he speaks the language, relaying the information. Lucas was a small 147, perfect for Pac. That was really a 140 fight. But they've been together for 20 years. Don't think there's lack of communication going on in his camp. Uh, what I mean by lack of communication, just to clarify, is that Freddie Roach speaks extremely slow. In a boxing match, and when you're in the corner, you only get what, a minute to convey all the information a fighter needs. And because Freddie Roach doesn't have the capacity to give Pacquiao the information he needs quickly, it would be in their best interest for Freddie Roach to be conveying that information to Boo Boy in between rounds, and for Boo Boy to tell Pacquiao in his native language what needs to happen, because it would take all the confusion out. The confusion is Pacquiao needs information quickly, and Roach can't speak Pacquiao's language, and Pacquiao doesn't speak English well enough, or even understand English well enough for him to get that information he needs quick enough. So just take that whole aspect out of the way and let Boo Boy do all the communicating in the corner, and let Freddie Roach be the outside coach. Feed Boo Boy the information, and then Boo Boy can quickly get Pacquiao the information he needs. It would take all the confusion out of the way. Now, whoever handles the cuts and who's giving nobody cares who's giving the water and handling the cuts. They don't really. He's not speaking in the corner. Those people don't even speak in the corner. They're just squirting water in somebody's mouth. So those two guys don't matter. The problem is with the communication between Boo Boy and Roach is where the problems come in. Pac's real problem. He's too nice. I mean, he wants everybody to win. We all know Pacquiao loves everybody, and that's he got to make a stand, man. You can't have two coaches at the same time. Max Pacquiao is a real 140 also. Pacquiao's a chameleon, man. He can fight. He can fight in multiple divisions. Cap's right. It's been said that Max Frank, you're right. He's way too nice to Haynes in the corporate boxing establishment. Though the Ugas fight, Roach was busy coaching I can't figure out how to say that guy's last name. Fight instead of being in the locker room with Manny. Man, very true. Very true. Those last few points, and I'm gonna touch on that one more time. Appreciate the Max Plank. Appreciate that super chat, man. I appreciate all y'all for coming through, man. Y'all throw the conversation up today, man. It felt like the old days, man. It felt like we back in it, man. I feel like Rocky again. But man, shouts out to you, Max Plank, for that spat on super chat, bro. Definitely gonna have to start finding ways to take this money I get from YouTube and make the channel better, man. If y'all got any suggestions on what I can add in to make the live chats better or make more interactive, or do y'all want to start joining in the conversation? Like, do I need to get on Zoom and all this stuff, man, so I can start adding y'all directly in? Cause I would like to start doing that, man. If y'all want to do that, man, where y'all can come in and actually show your face and all that good stuff. Cause I can do it on my other program, but I got to know you behind the scenes to do it on that program. But I think that one's called Zoom. I forgot what it's called, but that one's a little easier to just add people into. All right, so well, I was gonna touch on it. So those of you guys fight, Roach was busy coaching. My, you know, Roach was coaching a lot of people at night. And I don't like that. I think his focus, it's a conflict of interest for Roach all the way around because he deals with a lot of promoters and he's coaching all these fighters. So I think it's time for Roach to be the second in command. It's time for Boo Boy to be the first in command in the Pacquiao fight if Pacquiao decides to carry on. Roach only be giving advice and training Pacquiao in the gym. I think that's gonna be my last point, man. If y'all got anything else to add, man, let me know. Man, it's almost been 2 hours on her. I'm tired. My voice is going out. Uh, I think we hit it all for the day, man. I think we hit it all. If y'all new to the conversation, man, y'all coming in, you can always rewind this and go back to the beginning, man, and catch up on everything we talked about in this live. Definitely go back and check out my last couple of videos. If y'all want to collabo, man, do a video with your boy, you can holler at me, man. I'm accessible, man. I'm not a big YouTuber, man, so I ain't blocking nobody. I ain't hating nobody. Max, did I make you a admin already? No. Max is okay. Max, you're our moderator, man. So yeah, you definitely can kick people, man. If they getting on your nerves. when you do nice things like that for people, you get special powers. I'm gonna give you the ability to just kick somebody straight up out of her. I blessed you with that ability. I appreciate you again, Max, man. Anything else y'all want to add, man, before I get out of here, bro? I'm gonna go and get out of here, man. I'll call my homie back, see what he talking about. Uh, and I eat something. I ain't ate nothing today. So, Roach needs to know his place and just get out of the way because he's a drag to deal with his. And I hate to look. What you're saying is sort of right, but the way you're saying it is wrong. The way you're saying it is wrong, Sky. But what you're saying is right. I mean, because of his workload and the fact of all the stuff that he's dealing with, Roach has to know his place, man. He has to know what he brings to the table, and he has to know his faults as well. Uh, Being in the corner, that's a time. That's a time. Everything has to be timed right, almost like a NASCAR when you go into the pit stop. It's almost like a pit stop for a boxer. So everything has to be meticulously planned out and has to go to plan. And when the communication is off, that don't happen. So, the only way that that's going to happen with communication and everything being meticulous and right to the point in that corner is for Boo Boy to be doing all the communicating with Pacquiao. So I think we're gonna leave it there, man. We got 12 people in the chat, man. I can't believe this, man. We hit some great numbers tonight, man. It's all thanks to y'all. Nothing I do here would be possible without y'all, man. So I always want to take my hat off and give thanks to the people who come through, man, and support, man. Y'all make it happen, man. Y'all definitely make it happen. Hopefully we can do some big things with this channel in the future. Definitely gonna keep having these great conversations, man. If y'all got anything else to add, I'm gonna give y'all 1 minute to go ahead and add anything else, and I'm out of here. Dude, that's knockout was crazy. I I don't know what you talking about, bro. I ain't see that. I don't even know who that is. Got anything else to add, bro? Go on and throw it in there now. I gotta find me something to eat. I'm definitely probably not going out. He want me to go out. I don't even go in clubs. Bentley Manny at 140 going after Josh Taylor and Tank just for fun. I do like that Josh Taylor fight, and Josh Taylor is supposed to be coming up to 147, so it's possible. So for him, it's possible for him to have that fight at 147. We'll have to see, man. Josh Taylor would be a good fight. Haven't saw him fight a full fight live yet, but I've seen him some rounds of Josh Taylor. He's a pretty good fighter, man. But I wanna watch some film. Maybe we'll do a film study of Pacquiao's best top opponents tomorrow. We'll break down. I'll watch some of the fighters I haven't watched and talk about what I think about them. Some of the guys that was brought up today, like Ennis and Josh Taylor, Jamal James. I'll study some of that film tomorrow, and we can talk about it. Didn't think about that. Exactly, bro. And with that being said, I think I'm gonna get out of here, man. Definitely tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do one tomorrow. Got some stuff going on. Might be a little later in the day. Maybe around 10 o'clock or something like that. 10, 11. Might jump back on here, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through, man. It's your boy Carton Red. Everybody who super chatted, man. Thank you. And we are out of here.
Louisville, home of the best scrapper, also home of the best rapper. Flow dapper, here's another chapter. Ride through, attack you, ride away your laughter. This is what I'm after, blowing on that rapper. Purple Patrol, keep a bunch to blow. I don't serve it though, murder flow. If it goes down, I'm the first to know. Y'all niggas late, like the Conan show. Overdose, overload, sharp flow, leave him with the open throat. Lewis Keys, cool as Nova Scotia snow. Puff a blunt, poke a hole, nigga, you supposed to know. Lewis Keys, blowing blunts on the open road. Fuck a cop, fuck a speed limit, drive overdose. Keep a bad bitch, hips wide like Oprah's nose. And you know that I'm a fool, my freestyle's wet, I'm floating in the pool. You should pay your tuition, you're going to my school. Principal keys, you niggas getting held back. Fuck them little sacks, you can have your bread back. No refund, well here the G's come. Hit your ass up, leave you with your fucking head crack.
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502.
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. That's where I'm from, player, how about you? I'm from the city where the hate is familiar. I'm from the city where the haters will kill ya. I'm from the city where they like to gamble. Dice game, get robbed, niggas to scramble. Head for the hills, nigga, duck and dive. No bullshit, no shuck and jive. I know a lot of guys got shot and died. A lot of good guys didn't see 25. Recognize it's a blessing being alive. Heading to the park, I'm on the passenger side. Like
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502.
every night's game set. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like game set. Game set. Every day the Super Bowl. Every night's game set. We ballin' like the playoff. I walk in with my homie. Walk out with your baby mama's home key. I can tell she want it. Fat booty, so you know a nigga own it. I'm such a OG. Last time I checked, my verses were for OZ. In the street. Plus I got caught up with the beats. And I'm still spitting that heat. KY is in for a treat. In the club looking for a freak. Hope they don't call the police. Every day the Super
day's a Super Bowl. Every night's game 7. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like game 7. Game 7. Every day the Super Bowl.
She got bills to pay. She about to take you home, cause she got bills to pay. She about to let you fuck, cause she got bills to pay. She's about to set you up, cause she got bills to pay. And the whole team holler, cause she got bills to pay. Stealing out the other strippers' lockers, cause she got bills to pay.